Hi, welcome along to AFTV. We're here for Talking Transfers, and we've got a star-studded panel for you today. Let me start over there to my right. Fresh back from Cyprus, looking tanned, looking good, looking healthy.
Something like that.
Right, until he heard about Madueke and then it all went wrong. Right? We got Turkish in the building. Enjoy it? Have a good place?
Yeah, man. I wish I was back there. I can't lie. Landed and then a few hours later the Madueke stuff picks up. I was waiting for Gyokeres.
Okay, we'll get to that. Lee Judges is in the building. Looking, where you been? Because you look tanned as well.
Well,
been lying out
I've been lying out in the garden, like that. Passed out over those allegations, like, you know. I can't believe one team in North London is advanced and the other team doing a business.
Imagine that.
So I fell asleep in the garden. I'll tell you what, this is no joke. This is no joke, right? Yeah. I heard about the Gibbs White things at about 4 o'clock today, right? I've had a sleep up in the office. I've woke up, they've signed him.
Well, they ain't signing him.
Well, no, that's done. Medical. Arsenal, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's day 55 and we're still, like, you know, we're still advanced with Gyokeres.
Yeah, signed Norgard today. Anyway, we got Laurie. We got Laurie's here as well. To my left as well, right? And we're here today, of course, to discuss transfer. Let's kick off with that one. It's not actually an Arsenal signing, but it's quite a significant signing. And as Lee just mentioned there, Morgan Gibbs White of Nottingham Forest on his way to Spurs. A real surprise, this one, right out of the blue. They've met his £60 million release clause. And the midfielder is set to join Spurs. He's got a medical booked for tomorrow, according to David Ornstein. And as you were just saying, Lee, they've moved really fast on this one. Probably they've had to pay the whole release clause up front. I'm really surprised by this because we're talking about possibly Nottingham Forest's best player. They've already lost Alanga, and now Gibbs White is through the door. I mean, a good signing for Spurs.
And Crystal Palace don't want to lose their good players, do they? Like, you know what I mean? So it just shows you that, you know, the release clause. I do believe, and I'm led to believe that Eze has a release clause.
68 million. Right. So that's 8 million more than this one. But yeah, he does have a release clause.
And I do believe that Arsenal have been in the Champions League a little bit longer than Tottenham. I don't even think Tottenham have been in the Champions League for the last couple of years. You know, but they're you know. So why are we looking for instalments? You know, like they've obviously, you know, they've met it. Bosh, done.
2 release clauses actually, because they met the release clause as well for Mohamed Kudus, who's it's actually not. Sorry, it wasn't a release clause, but £55 million.
It went below that, like, you know. So listen, you know, that's what you do when you're in the Champions League. You make signings. Well, I also haven't made any.
Well, they did. They made Christian Norgard. They signed today. They signed Zubamendi on Monday. You are forgetting though, they have made a couple of signings.
Oh yeah, they did.
Don't start this, Rob, seriously.
No, but he said they made no signings. They have.
But
I know, obviously, I get what you're saying.
We signed Zubamendi time ago, really.
But it's still a signing. They signed Zubamendi is a big signing. They've made that signing.
And we made that release course, you know, with statements. With instalments. You know what I mean, like.
Well, what they've done with that release clause is they've paid over the amount, so they didn't have to pay it all up front. So they can spread the payments.
So it's all right going over the odds for a midfield player.
Well,
we won't go over the. We won't have our pants pulled down for a striker that we desperately need.
Well, on the striker situation,
come on, where are we? Advanced or what? Where are we? In gear 3 or 4? Have we gone up a gear?
On the striker front, I was reading this from John Cross. Let me see if I can find it. John Cross of the Mirror. And he claims... Sorry?
Where's Chris Hudson? Wasn't John Cross one of the guys?
Yeah, it was one of the people that he cussed off, yeah. Let me find... He said Arsenal staying calm and the deals can often take longer periods of time. But he went on to say that Arsenal made huge progress last weekend. And he claims that now all of it, the talks are opening up again after it was rumoured that Sporting had gone quiet on the whole thing. Talks are opening up again, and he's fully expecting this one to get over the line.
Well, let's hope they're in English this time or Portuguese, like, you know. That's all I'm saying, like, you know. obviously they weren't. They was talking Iraqi or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, like, you know, what is going on there. What opening up talks like that? Look at the bosh, it's done. You can't argue
know what
it.
it is. They've been talking for a while now.
About what?
No, but I mean, in terms of Gyokeres has said it's only Arsenal. All you got to do is sort the striker out. Just sort the striker out.
I don't even know Gibbs White wanted to leave.
Nor did I. Nor did anybody. Like, they've met the release clause, and obviously he's I mean, this must be a big blow to Nottingham Forest, as I said, he's one of their main players. So that is a real surprise. But it's getting done. Does that mean, do you think, Turkish, that because really and truly the person that they really wanted was Eze, does that mean to you that do you think to yourself that maybe they're moving away from Eze then?
What?
Thinking that he's more likely to go to Arsenal than Spurs, and why they've gone and got Morgan Gibbs-White?
Maybe, but you know, they are moving fast. You know, in terms of bringing in, because both players that apparently over the last 48 hours they're pretty much sealing. I'll take over the one we look like we're going full force for right now. That's Tottenham. They finished what, 17th, and
So
they're bringing in players that I would actually take at Arsenal Football Club. Because I don't understand how it's Eze, Morgan Rogers or Madueke, like, you know, the Athletic said recently.
No, but then there's also been
there should be Gibbs White in there as well as an option, because
there's
we need
also
central players.
Yeah, there's also been reports that even if they get Madueke, they will get Eze as well. The Madueke deal does not affect them.
It's going to affect something.
It might affect something, but they're saying it's not going to affect them. It's going
to affect something that we should be doing better than Madueke. It's probably.
But part the Madueke one for a minute. Eze, you know, do you feel that, you know, they're moving for Morgan's Gibbs-White means that maybe that's a move now for Eze? They're moving away from that because they think he's going to definitely go to Arsenal. And if so, do you think Eze would be a good signing for Arsenal?
Yeah, I want Eze. Yeah. Makes sense, really. When you see the release clause and the instalment thing, 20 mil a year for 3 years, that suits us to a T. So that should be one way of getting done early, get him in. Pre-season's only 10 days away, you know. 10 days, we want our club to have 3 more players in. The likelihood of that is you know, it's not going to happen the way we move with transfers.
What about you, Eze? I mean, if it had come down to, say, Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White, which one out of them two would you have preferred?
I would have gone for Eze. I think he's a better player. Having said that, though, I do rate Gibbs-White. And I think I've got to tip my hat to Spurs on this one, funny enough, because they've operated in stealth. No one saw that coming. They operated under the radar. And obviously that works for them, because that means that other clubs wouldn't have known what was going on, so they couldn't have tried to gazump the deal. They got their man, and he will definitely improve them. He is a good player. So, and like you guys said,
surprising one for me, because it's
Forest,
really...
they got to be careful, because Alanga gone, now Gibbs White gone. That's 2 of their integral players for last season.
And who's their sporting director now?
Edu.
Edu. Well, it's a surprising one, because when I look at what Spurs probably need, I'm surprised that they have decent players in the area, innit? Attacking midfield. With Kulusevski
and Madison.
But they are injury prone, both of those two.
So, I think he's a good player. I don't necessarily think that he's what Arsenal want.
No.
If I'll be really honest, he's sort of like more on the right side when we were looking down the left side. You know, we're looking for Eze, we'll end up with Esse. You know what I mean?
Eze will be a quality signing, and the whole story of getting dropped and coming back and the point to prove, and he's just won something for Palace. It's a nice story that if he could cap off by coming here and then helping us actually win something, you know, that's just sort that out. You know, that's there to be sorted out. Apparently 2 weeks ago, nearly now, he basically said it's Arsenal for him if he's gonna move. You know, behind the scenes. So,
you know what I'm noticing about Arsenal? There seems to be a little trend with this summer transfer window, in that there's a lot of interest. We think we're on the verge. This has happened with a few. Think about it. It happened with Sesko, happened with Gyokeres, it's happened with Eze, it's happened with a few players. We think we're making progress. Then everyone's getting all excited. Oh, it's pretty much done. Terms agreed. Boom, boom, boom. And then nothing happens. And then you're thinking, well, what's happened there? You know what I mean? It happened with Zubamendi. Even happened with Norgard. I remember a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but they're through the door. And
I know.
So is this the reason why people need to just calm down? We're going to get to the Madueke thing. I think we're quite universal on this one. But on the other ones, right, is this why people need to calm down a bit? Because two of those you just said, we've got Norgard, we've got Zubimendi, right? When all the noise was going on about Zubimendi.
But that hasn't lifted that's been to replace both Partey and Jorginho.
I know, but they've got them. Yeah, so I'm just going to what you said.
It's not really...
All right, so let me ask you a question. Do you think we'll get Victor Gyokeres?
Yes.
Do you think we'll get him?
better get Victor Gyokeres?
All right. Do you think we'll get Victor Gyokeres before the transfer before we go on a pre-season tour?
It's hard to say. I'm 50-50 on that.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know.
Do you think we're getting before?
No.
We go?
And I want, you know...
But do you know how silly... Do you know what that would show? Even doing that, the club allowing us to go pre-season without the new 9 in place, whoever that was, whether they wanted Sesko 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah. Do you know what that shows? Just that little thing. We're not serious. Because then
listen, you're carrying on.
But what I'm saying is, if it is like that, and it's been proven before that we're not serious. Sterling on loan the last day of the window.
Let's get something right here, like about, you know, and be honest about it. We've gone 5 months in the Premier League season. 5 months: January, February, March, April, May, without a striker.
Knowing
that we needed one, and we didn't go and get one. So are we going to be worried about going to Singapore and Hong Kong without one?
Could I just say something though? One area where I would give you a little bit of credit, as much as I hate to say this, is that if you look at the business that Arsenal's done so far, the 3 signings, I think they're all good signings, and I actually think that they will improve the team. So for example, if you look at the midfield, I would say that midfield we got now, which will be Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Norgard, that is a stronger one than what we had last season.
Yeah, we don't know how Zubimendi's going to land.
Okay, but on the face of things, it would appear that it's a stronger one. Because
I can't say that yet.
On paper, it does look better.
It does look better, man. And I'm a fan of Partey. I didn't want to see him go.
Younger and more physical.
Yeah, it's more dynamic.
Yeah,
and I think it's a better midfield. Like you said, Turkish, we don't know how it's going to perform yet. The Kepa business is a really good piece of business. 5 million for a Spanish international keeper.
All I'm saying is,
a few years ago, he was seen as one of the top goalkeepers in Europe.
But the business done so far hasn't, for certain, improved our first team. And his first team improvements we needed.
It's improved the midfield.
Okay. We don't know yet. We don't know that.
Well, okay.
But on the Zubimendi is...
Because Havertz came in midfield 2 years ago. It didn't work out. Mourinho came into midfield last season. It didn't work out. So Zubimendi has a higher profile. And he's sought after by many other clubs, right. And I get that. So yes, it looks like we have a quality player coming in. I like that signing, by the way.
Yeah, based off of what you're saying, you know, I mean, we can say that for everyone. We don't know if Eze's going to be through. We don't know if Gyokeres.
But Gyokeres improves the first team, no?
That we don't know, according to what you're saying.
Well, come on. I mean,
well, this is what we're saying with Zubimendi.
We haven't got anything.
Exactly. So I'm just saying. Everybody, you can say that for every signing. Zubimendi is a good sign, isn't it?
No, but Turkish, be honest now, right?
You know that launched after FA Cup Man United, the day after. That launched already then.
I understand your frustration. I share the same concerns as you guys, you, Lee. I expressed my frustration. Me and Robbie went back and forth. But what I'm saying is, to be fair to Arsenal, so far, the signings that we've made, I think they're all good signings.
I'm sorry.
Now, hear me out.
What, have you been in the car driving with Robbie? Has he bought you dinner?
I said so far, Lee. Lee. So far, the 3 signings, Kepa, Zubimendi and Norgard are 3 good signings on the face of things. We don't know.
But at the end of the day, and I get that, but let's all pat our backs on the things that for replacing players that have already left. And also, as those are good signs, but not one of them players moves the dial. Not one of them. I'll tell you that now. If you're going, we're at this moment in time, I think third favourites for the league. We're probably still third favourites.
I think Zubimendi could be seen as a statement signing. Because a lot of
clubs, I'm not saying like, you know, if we had Gyokeres in there, he's a dial mover. We got to get players in that are going to improve the 11.
All right, but I just asked you the question. Do you think we'll get Gyokeres in?
I do, but I don't think we're going to get him before the before.
Do you think we're going to get Gyokeres in?
Full stop. Is that what you're asking?
If you
Just asking you the question.
Yes.
'Cause
I
it-
do.
so-
but when? I don't know.
Right, so
it could be this
do you
window,
think we're
it could
gonna
be
get
next
Gyokeres
window.
in?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I
Right?
do.
So we all think Gyokeres is going to come, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so
We've got to get a forward.
I also think we'll get Eze as well.
I'd love Gyokeres to be here right now, but he's not. But
Well,
as
why
long
is
as he
not,
comes.
Rob? Why is other teams getting the business done quickly and we're
but
not?
every deal's different. Listen, I'm frustrated
Well,
as well. I'd like to have seen those guys be in from day one.
Yeah, but
it don't always work
We've had
like that.
since January to sort this out, Rob.
It don't always work like that.
Yeah, but with us, it doesn't.
Right?
We've definitely done with us.
And I think you can see on the Gyokeres deal, right? I think you can see, it's clear to see, actually, right? From Gyokeres' actions, right? Is that one thing was promised on that guy with regards to fee and stuff like that. So if you think about, listen, I don't know for sure. I'm just trying to be a bit of devil's advocate here as well, but I'm trying to put a bit of balance on the thing. If you're Arsenal, if you're Andrea Berta, and you at the start of the window, you're starting to make calculations for your targets, yeah? So you got certain players that you got in mind that you want to sign. And then you've spoken to Gyokeres' representatives and they say, yeah, we got an agreement. He'll go, right, it's 50 million plus 10 million in add-ons. That's what's been agreed with the club and that. So are you making the calculations and that? You sure? Yeah, no. Just like the Gibbs White would have probably, people would have spoken to his representatives and he might have said to Tottenham, well, you may not know, but he's actually got a £60 million release clause. Has he? Then they get in and get that done. In the case of Gyokeres now, the club, the sporting director, it's obvious, it's there, it's a big row that's been going on now for weeks. Went back on all that and said, no, actually, we're not going to let you go for that. We actually want 100 million euros. That's what he started off at first. Right? They're like, what? Right? Then, it went, they said, all right, we'll take 80 million. So all of a sudden now, that's way over your budget. So you've got to go into negotiations. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but when you're in need of the player, right?
You just pay whatever you're saying.
It's 4 mil difference apparently, or 5 mil.
No,
difference.
so apparently you don't know for sure,
Yeah,
right?
but it's
Apparently,
widely
who told you that?
reported. It's widely the same people that you look at for transfer daily.
Yeah, no, and as I said, when I look at it, like you said, it's been widely reported. Doesn't mean it's.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're not there in the negotiations.
Regardless, yeah. Even his release clause apparently was 100 million, but
Apparently, but they went against that release clause, didn't it?
yeah, but we're still getting the best striker available. Again,
Right. So to me,
sort it out
there's
before
nothing
some
wro-
other team comes in
So there's
and
nothing-
decides we'll take him for that
Right,
price.
but there's nothing wrong with them negotiating, trying to get the best price, as long as they get him.
There is when you're going to spend 50, your first bid is 50 for Madueke. I'll tell you that.
Part of the Madueke thing for me.
No, I
I'm
can't
just on
park
about
that.
I'm on
That is
about.
you cannot park that. That is the crane in the middle of the fucking car park. How are we spending 50 mil on that guy and then we're talking
that's
about 4 mil here, 7 mil there, we might need to sell to do that there. How about you do the proper business first, and if you can get Noni come the end of it for 2025, so be it.
Well, I agree.
Why are
with
we
you.
going so full force on it?
That I agree with you on. To me, the Madueke one, I'm like, leave that till later. Even if that's a player you want, get the Gyokeres. That I do agree with you on. But to me, as long as they get Gyokeres in before we go on pre-season, I'm not going to sit here now and slate about the Gyokeres thing because there's still time to.
What about if we look at it like this?
He's going on holiday
hang
next
on.
week. He ain't going to be here for it.
One second.
Transfer daily.
One second,
I'm
guys.
not on holiday, by the way.
1 second, guys. Well, how about if we look at it like this? If at the end of this transfer window we've signed Kepa, Zubamendi, Norgard, Gyokeres and Eze, I think that is an exceptional transfer window.
Yeah, I do, but
Have you
also
ever
I'm not
seen
going
us do a
to
window
I'm not
like
going to
that?
pat the club on the back because that's what is expected from a Champions League club. To sign big signs. I'll tell you what's not expected from a Champions League club, right? Lose your centre forward in January, in December when he gets injured, right? And then come January, do nothing about it. That's not a Championship club.
I think they are trying to do something about it.
Oh, are they?
I think they are.
They are now, aren't they? Forget January for a
Well,
minute.
no, I cannot. There's another crane in the car park now, apart from the one of that. The other crane is that we've done nothing, And no, it's not a crane, it's a bulldozer now. I'm putting a bulldozer in there, like put it in there. It's in the car park. We done nothing in January.
I
right?
know. Well, there's nothing we can do about that now, is it?
Yeah, there's something we can do about it now.
Make up for it.
Make up for it.
And that's exactly
Not
what
only that, we made a profit last summer. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So actually, last summer, when you look at it, we made a profit. January, we didn't do anything. Which one's worse? When you're actually trying to go win a title, tell me that. Which club do you see go into a window and do that? Come on. Now, I know Liverpool didn't spend last year.
Liverpool didn't spend a penny
but it
last
was
year.
different circumstances. They've got winners in that side that have been there, done that, and Slot was a breath of fresh air maybe, and it's worked out for them. We're
No,
not
all their
Liverpool.
fans are cussing. Let's be real.
They were, but no one fought it, right? That's cool, but that's not the argument. That's a different circumstance, and the reason you look back and why they've won it is because Slot's a top manager, number one, and they've got top players, number two. So 2 years ago, we thought it's just Man City we got to get ahead, forgetting Liverpool. Liverpool have shown that. Now, what we're doing, we're saying third favourites. That's what it is.
And don't forget,
Madueke might make us fourth favourites. You ever heard that?
And just
you sign
to-
someone and you go back a spot in terms of where you're going to finish.
Just to piggyback on the back of what you're saying as well, you are right. But Liverpool was different because they had won the title a few years before that. I know it was 5 years or COVID year. We've not won the title in 20 odd years. So our need is more desperate. So I do agree with you on that.
All right, let me do some super chats. Moses says, guys, what do you think of Samu from Porto? I don't really know of him.
Yes, well, the striker. He was at.
Oh, the one
he was
that
at
is that the
Atletico.
one that
Atletico.
yeah, that's the one that Chelsea were going to get.
He's 20.
And
Yeah,
then-
And if he's 20
And
years
then they
old.
changed their mind. Yeah,
I mean,
he's had a good season,
He had a good season.
but
scored
I
goals.
think he's still got a way to go. K-Prash1 says, what a great signing of Noni by Arteta. What a visionary man. I think this guy's trolling there. Quadruple loading. Saka will have to sit on the bench now. VM says, the arrogance of Sporting. Their sporting director should be kissing our feet for giving him a great pay package. Props to Berta for not folding, because that would be an embarrassment. I can't agree with that. You don't just give what you don't just say.
take that-
Oh, we
go
need
to
a striker.
Stamford
Here, I'll
Bridge and
take
do
it.
that then. Go to Stamford Bridge and do that as well then, Berta.
So
No, I'm just on about the
When it
Gyokeres.
suits.
I'm on the Gyokeres thing, right? To me, you don't just give them. You don't just say, "Oh, we need a striker." We're that desperate. So here it is. Here's what you want.
We're
You
not
don't-
desperate, though. We're not desperate.
If that's the case, there's no point in bringing someone like Berta because he's known for negotiating. He's known for bringing.
As it
that's
stands
part of
at
the
the
skill
moment,
of it.
we're an injury away from Marino up front again. That is what we are.
As it
That-
stands.
So, but we're not desperate.
The season ain't Lee. The season ain't starting tomorrow. They've got time to negotiate deals. You've got to be a bit more reasonable in these things. You can be.
Having said that, Robbie, you want your players signed so they can take away on pre-season.
Exactly, and there's still a week to go to that. Let's
but
wait.
How about we flip the super chat round, because that super chat is embarrassing in itself. Put yourself in sporting shoes or a sporting fan shoes. Arsenal are a disgrace for not giving us the 70 mil for a striker that scored 100 goals in 2 seasons. We stand firm on that. You could do the same thing. What
Yeah, but
bullshit
then
is that?
no, because to me, if you're a negotiator and you know that a player's desperate to come to
And
your
if you're
club,
the selling
right?
club and you know you've got
know-
a striker that is banging,
Exactly. So both
it's a cheap deal for that.
both sides are doing what they should be doing, which is they're trying to get the
We ain't
most they
doing what
can
we
from
should
their
be
player.
doing, Rob.
Also trying to negotiate the best deal for the player that they know. This is a common thing within football, that when you know a player is desperate to come to your club, you kind of got a bit of power in the deal.
Yeah, he's desperate now.
Panvajit says Cunha's agent finessed the game. Made him sign a new contract in January with a release clause to guarantee a summer exit. No gentleman agreement nonsense. Leandro says,
That's a great.
big up the
great
panel.
point.
The way Berta is approaching this window is different from the past. I've had 30 plus years supporting, so I get PTSD, but this is moving. We have made some signings. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, everyone was saying we've made no signings. Rustamow says, Laurie looks sexy in that yellow top. Big up the stud. That's like Crom Jim, innit? That's
a paper, that, Rob.
how much they pay for that? What do you pay?
This is a birthday gift.
$2.
actually.
Ritz Van Car says, I disagree with Laurie. We should have the most important players before pre-season. Arsenal arguing over 5 mils and dropping 50 mil on Noni is indefensible.
Now, let me make myself clear. I'm kind of with Lee and Turkish insofar as I would have loved to have seen the signings earlier. And like I said, me and you have gone back and forth about that. What I am saying, though, is if you look at what we've done so far and what we're on the verge of doing, I think we're on the verge of completing a really good transfer window. But I would like the club to show a bit more urgency and get the deals done. That's what I'm saying.
K-Prash1 says, you're Kroenke's advocate. Always excuses. Stop it, Robbie. If I was Kroenke's advocate, I wouldn't have had to have just gone to the club shop and buy a shirt. The guy never going, don't you get a shirt sent here? I go, nope. Sikraf says, my goodness, why do Robbie back Arsenal like this? Listen, I'm just trying to be reasonable here. I ain't backing no one. I want the best signings for Arsenal Football Club. But then also, you know, I'm trying to be reasonable here. I'm not going to go shouting and thing, right? Because it's I'd say this all the time.
You know what
it's the popular thing to think. I'm saying, when it comes to doing business in the transfer market, right? You don't just go out there and say, yeah, we want Gyokeres. Oh, do you? You're desperate for him. All right, I'll tell you what, give me 90 million. All right.
You know what I see you
don't
doing?
Just that's ridiculous.
You know what I see with him?
Simple.
Right? You know, because he runs the company, he's adopting that business sense in terms.
But it's a business.
Whereas us lot are more fans.
No, listen. Whether we like it or not.
Yeah, I know.
Whether we like it or not, it's a business as well.
Would you say that?
It's
got your business hat on.
It's more. I'm looking at it from,
as a business.
Yeah, as from their point. Listen, that's why Bert has been brought in. Bert has been brought in to do good business in transfers for the club. It's as simple as that. Whether we like it or not, we will look on certain things sometimes and we will say, just go and get him. But that's not our club's
So do you trust him wholly then?
No, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust him wholly at all, because I don't agree with the Madueke signing. Right? But that's down to them. They're the ones that are doing it. They've got a reason why they do it. But I don't think Noni Madueke is a good signing for Arsenal. I really don't. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Gyokeres, I get. I wanted Gyokeres right from the start. I said Gyokeres over Sesko right from the start. I would love to see that signing.
I'll say this and I'll say it again, right? And you can have your business hat on, you can have your Kroenke in hat on, or whatever you want, right? Every single
it's called a reasonable hat.
Every single Arsenal fan has had to pay extra money
including
this season, including you, for your season ticket, right? And that has gone over the £5 million thing, like, you know what I mean? There's no negotiations for us. Can I do it in instalments? Can I do this and do it that? Like, we just had to pay it. Now they're scrimping and saving over something that Arsenal Football Club need, like, and I cannot get my head around that. I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean? Like, we need a striker. We may even need two. But here we are on the 10th of July, Wimbledon semi-finals about to be played. Like, you know what I mean? Before cricket, there'd be a Wimbledon champion before we've got ourselves a striker.
Let me ask you this, right? So let me ask you this. So, what are they saying? Like, what's the fee? 70 million.
For who? Gyokeres?
Is what they wanted at first, yeah?
The fee is 100 million release clause euros first, so 80 million pounds.
But in recent times they've been saying 70 million is what they want for him, right? So
I think that's even
I'm
euros.
asking you this.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So if they get him in before pre-season, right?
Yeah.
For 65 million, is that good business?
I don't give a monkey's chuff if it's good business or not. Like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about what is the difference for that 5 million going to do to me. Like, they've made, you know, they've saved money on a goalkeeper. If you look at it, they was going to go and buy that Garcia for 23 million. Is that because we bought in Kepa, right? No, hold on a minute. They bought in Kepa for 5 million. Does that mean the burgers are going to go down at the Emirates? No, they're not. They're going to stay the same. And is my season ticket going to go down or up because of it? No.
What did you say about the Kepa signing?
Good business.
That's because we was about to do some nonsense, though, Rob.
Good business.
That's what we have.
So
no, that's the only bit of praise, though.
Why not
But that's the only bit of praise it's got.
Give them 20 million.
But the only bit of praise Kepa, the only bit of praise the Kepa transfer got was good business.
We needed a backup goalkeeper.
Yeah, so why was we going for one and for 30 million in the first place? That's why people say the Kepa one's good business. Or with a backup goalkeeper, just bring him in, shut the hell up about it, and move on. That's it. It's a backup goalkeeper.
If we have to wait 1 week and you've saved
1 week? When are you getting this 1 week from? I've been waiting since the 1st of January. I've been waiting since Man United in the FA Cup when Jesus went down injured. That is how long I've been waiting, Rob.
right? And we know that we didn't get no one in January. We was all pissed off about that.
This has
but
been going
I'm
on
saying
for a long
the
time.
summer, right? We all said, make sure you got that guy in before pre-season, right? If he comes before pre-season and
Pre-season started, by the way.
and you know what I'm talking about. when I say
No, you just said
pre-season.
pre-season.
We're on about pre-season. We meant the pre-season tour.
The tour.
Right, you know what I'm talking about. Shut up.
Have a little boxes moved.
There's
Stop
only 10
trying to-
days left for that as well.
Stop trying to use your brain on this, right? So
10 days,
if they
Robbie,
get
love.
if
10 days.
if they get him in before then, right, and they save themselves 5-10 million, that's good business as well.
It's not when you're bringing in Madueke. When are we going to address the
We're
crane?
gonna get to that. All right, I'm gonna do the super chat, so we'll get to our friend Madueke. Pavrachit says, imagine 4 to 5 years ago when we were finishing 5th and Liverpool and City were overpaying for players like Pep and Bellerin to win the league. Laughable. He-Man says, Rob, your PR is sickening. You got your own box. Well, I wish I had a box. Some of the things that are said, right? Just because, maybe my opinion is going a bit against the grain.
As I said, you're wearing your business
Right?
hat.
Football is a business as well. As well as
but their business is exploitation.
it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
They're exploiting the.
No, but if you look at the way Robbie's
To them,
framing his
everyone's
references,
customers.
you can see he's thinking with his business hat on.
Well, but Laurie,
No, but I'm not.
Transfers is business.
No, but listen, I am not unduly criticising you. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's where you're coming at it from.
Cryptic Dino says, if I'm negotiating, I need clubs and players to know that I have the options and I'm waiting and willing to go elsewhere. Maybe Noni, smokescreen for Eze. Make Will Mills says, crash out over Madueke is warranted, but come on. Rodrigo Glaze is absurd. And this is from someone who watches him every week. Why drop 300k wages on someone who has always been a backup dancer? He also goes on to say, let me just, sorry there. How did that just skip that far? Hold on. He also goes on to say, Ozil was a WC push out due to politics. Sanchez playing at WC, but had Neymar ahead of him. Just because they play for Real Madrid doesn't make them a superstar. Henry says Berta is like a mafia boss. Oh boy. D Jones says if the club cares about the fans, they would avoid Noni. I feel kind of bad for him. It's not his fault that the club has caused this for years with trash windows. Michael says, who's Lee's dentist? Can you fit me in? Yeah, you got good teeth there, right? Face the Hacker 969 says, big up Robbie, Lee, Turkish and Laurie. Great work with the channel. Get Eze and Gyokeres in, and that's a good window in my opinion. Abraham says, Tottenham pay release clause for Kudus in under 24 hours. Meanwhile, Arsenal want to negotiate under the release clause for Eze. Makes sense. Make it make sense.
Great point.
When is the new Forever Arsenal episode coming out, says Ali?
It should be. It was meant to be today, but I don't know what happened.
It's out, isn't it? I thought it was out.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it was meant to come out.
I was
today.
listening to some of that last night. Some good debating there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
There's,
should be out. If it's not out, well, Ryan, he meant to.
Oh, well, right.
D Jones says
to
part
say
of the club aim
Get
should
going.
be to please the fans. K-Praj 1 says, Robbie, we are not paying an extra 3 million for Gyokeres. What? We are not paying an extra 3 million for Gyokeres. Canadian Gooner 1995 says, Sterling, Havertz, Madueke are sackable signings. Hugo Gooner says, no Gyokeres and get Noni, then no more King Arteta. And let me just do this last one. Notice says signing 2 wingers from the same country in the World Cup year is strange. Wanjeri on the right wants game time. Everyone wants to go to the World Cup. Let's get into it. Madueke. I mean, this guy Amir with a super chat. He says, Berta and good business. The Madueke transfer must be investigated. This Chelsea thing is not normal at all. Noni Madueke shocked all of us, this proposed signing. Apparently, what they're saying is that Arsenal put in a bid of £40 million with 10 million in add-ons, will take it up to around about 50 million. Does this make sense to you? Getting Noni Madueke?
It makes sense in terms of the nonsense we've always done. So you're used to this sort of shit, right? It's nonsense. Since we've been back in the Champions League, we're doing the same shit we done under Wenger when we was in the Champions League, never showing the ambition to take the next step. Hazard's there banging at Lille. No, let's go for Gervinho. You know, that's just one example of many we could say over those years. All the big players that left over those years that have talked since to citing many of the same reasons, ambition and really looking around, is there any winners? That would be the next step for this club. Noni Madueke, who the hell is excited about that? Now, it's nothing against him, right? And I know he's getting a lot of nonsense on social media, and that's wrong, right? It's the club that we have to look at here. It's the people at the top, and it's the manager, and everything in between. But those are the most culpable here. Some might argue that the Kroenkes have changed in the last 6-7 years, and you look at the total spent. I'll argue, look at the last 3 windows since we've been back in the Champions League and say they're the same old owners we've always had, just a different face to it. But look at Arteta. He's highest paid manager we've had since Wenger. He's top 3 paid in the world, the second highest in this league. Yeah? So I can't lie. No one can tell me that these don't all go through him. Final say, that's it. Right? In any bit, put your business hat back on, right? The highest paid employee is the one held most culpable, right? Surely. Mm-hmm. So he is the highest paid employee. So I don't want to... yes, Berta, I was excited about him coming in, but I think he's carrying out what the manager wants him to carry out. It's all rumours and bagger chat.
Well, Gyokeres, the rumour, if you listen to the rumours...
It doesn't matter, though. That's what I'm saying.
Just on that, though, Arteta wanted Sesko. Berta wanted Gyokeres, and we're getting Gyokeres. So,
rumor might be the truth, whatever.
But
right?
you just cited the rumors for your. I'm just saying.
But trust me, the highest paid employee is the one held most culpable. That's Arteta. Yeah, you go back to All or Nothing. Everyone else was against selling Oba. It was only Arteta. Edu spoke to Tim Lewis and whoever else, these lawyers and business people we have in there in the same room. They was all and ahhing about it. But because Arteta wanted it, so you're telling me fast forward 3 years, he's earning quadruple what he did then. He's got less responsibility. He's the manager, remember, not the head coach.
Well, the buck stops with him.
And it starts with the fucking owners, right? Because regardless, as much as I'm saying the manager is culpable and should own all these things happening right now, best believe if he's gone come the end of next season, which if we don't win anything, it has to happen, because we need some rejuvenation.
He won't go.
The next manager that comes in will be someone that can work under this ownership, because Wenger was the highest paid in Europe. Why? He wasn't winning majors. He was the highest paid to keep us in line. Yeah, keep us in check while we flirt with the majors. That's what he was highest paid for, right? Now Arteta's 3rd highest paid, top 3 highest paid. For what? Have we won majors? No. He's to keep us in line again, because there is a hive, right? Hives all over the gaff. There's a Zubamendi hive already. There's probably a Norgard one starting somewhere. Like, we need to, hold these men culpable and stop running into the dreamland with every, little signing that comes through the door, when the reality is we haven't even improved the first team. It's the 10th of July. Forget the striker that Lee says. We haven't improved the first team, full stop. It's the 10th of July. So come on.
I think that, Arteta's done well to get us into this position that we're in. Like, we are challenging now. But at the end of it, Turkish is right. If he signs it, if this is what he agrees on, then this is the sword he's going to die on. You know what I mean? Because you're spending £50 million on this. You know what I mean? Like, unless they're going to walk away, like they, at the end of the day, that's what they've said. Oh, we don't fancy it. I don't know. If they go back in with more. And at the end of it, I know, like Turkish saying, the owners are giving him £50 million for him. They're not, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, and you're saying about a budget, well, that 50 million must come in that budget, like, and that is down on Arteta at the end of the day to go, yeah, I'll have that. And if he does do that and he does sign him, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? You better make it work. But I don't know how it's going to work, because where's he going to play? A
bit of a spoiler alert, but I asked this question when we did Invincible podcast, which is going to be out tomorrow. I'm going to ask it to everyone here, right? Because this is an unpopular potential signing, right? I'm not with this signing at all. I don't understand it. I don't get it, right? It's not that he's a bad player, right? But it's not what we need, right? So I'm going to ask you all this. Start with you, Laurie. Should Arteta, Berta, who obviously are going to be, these two are sanctioning this signing, should they listen to us as fans? I did a poll, 2 polls on Transfer Daily. The first poll I did was when we were first linked to Madueke. No bids in, no nothing yet, right? 87% of people in that poll said, nah, we don't want him. When
I'd have thought he'd be hiding that.
87%. When the other day now, it started to look like we're going to get him, I thought, let me do another poll to see if people kind of turned round a bit. That was 95%. It went up. That surprised me, right?
95.
Right, 95% of fans said no. The first fan I met, right, that said they wanted him was today. We were doing some filming down by the Emirates. And this fan said to me, he goes, Robbie, I don't know what all the fuss is about. I think he'd be a really good player for Arsenal. We need a backup to Saka. He's a good ball carrier. He'll get better. So I asked,
We've got that with Wanyeri.
I'm asking you all this question. Should Arteta and Berta listen to us fans and not get Madueke, or should they push ahead and get what they think is needed?
I think 2 things can be true at the same time. I'd like to think that they do kind of would take fans, especially when there's been a wild reaction like this. I think they should take it into consideration, but ultimately they won't. They're professionals. They'll do what they think is best for the club, what they think is best.
Do you think they should be listening?
I pretty much agree with what you just said there. When it's extreme circumstances like this, yeah, fans are entitled with the amount of money spent to have some sort of say in some things. That's why they're linked to some fan groups and whatnot, which is, it was a lot more talked about a year after Super League. That seems to have gone quiet as well. But yeah, in general, fans should be listened to in some way, shape or form. Unrealistic about transfers, I don't think that should be the case. But when it's unanimous as it is with this one, like both for the player and the aura and the project and the process and the phases, you know, really think about this.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, earlier on, and my conclusion with it is that when you go to games now, Arteta says the fans are, well, you're very important. Very important, like, you know, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, turn up and be loud and all that, like, you know. So I think, you know, it works 2 ways.
So you think, like, on this, he should listen to what is overwhelmingly fans are saying? We don't.
I'd listen to Win the Dog over it as well, like, really, you know what I mean, if I be honest, wouldn't you? I'd listen, you know what I mean, I don't know where it's come from. It's crazy business, man.
Why do you think they're going for Madueke?
I think there's something going on with these owners in America and some business or something, because that's the only sense I can make of it. And it moves so quick with Chelsea, both Havertz and Madueke now. It just moves quick. Even Sterling, last day.
But
quick.
Sterling was a free though. I mean,
yeah, loan. But what I'm saying is, does our business move quick with anyone else?
Still pays wages.
Why do you think they're going?
I'm struggling. I mean, listen, the guy is a decent player. You said it right. But if you look at all the metrics, listen, Madueke kind of first really came to my attention last April when he was there fighting with Nicholas Jackson over a penalty when Chelsea were already 4-0 up. Straight away, that sent red flags to me. I've seen where Maresca, the manager, has publicly criticised Madueke for what he calls his inconsistency and him needing to do more. All these things are the very antithesis that we're led to believe that Arteta likes in a player. And it's not like people saying he's a backup for Saka. Is he? We got Wanyeri, who for me is already a better player than Madueke. Yes. And that money, as the guy said, both of them articulated it perfectly. When you talk about budgets, that 50 mil could go towards funding Eze, Rodrigo, whoever, better players than Madueke. So it just don't make no sense to me at all. And, you know what I mean, now the guy, Nonzino, as he likes to call himself, I know Nonzino's had to turn off his comments because of the stick he's getting. The fans don't want him, bro. And there's a reason for that.
And then my fear for this, right, as well, is that if he comes in, this is where I think maybe, because we did kind of have this before with, not to this extent, but when we were signing Raya, we were kind of all like, why?
No, not like this.
No, that's very, very
like
different,
man.
No, it's not like this, but I'm just saying it was kind of like this where
that was more confusing.
We were kind of like, why are we getting Raya for, right? Because
this one isn't confusing.
We've got a decent goalkeeper already.
Crazy.
And actually proved right. But in this case, I think the pressure that Madueke will be under, right? Because you think of it, you'll have your first couple games. Any of the other new players, if they give the ball away or anything, people will be like, oh, well, he's just come. Give him time. He gives the ball away, he's going to get a load of sticks straight away. They're going to be on him immediately. I think maybe they should listen to the fans in this case.
Yeah, they should.
Because
That's what I was saying. When the reaction is so wild like that, they should take it into account. And listen, I've got to be careful how I say this. We've seen with other clubs, when there's been a player that's been attached to some controversy, you know the kind of thing, I'm not going to go there, but then the club have taken notice and said, actually, you know what, nah. You know what I mean? I think it could be a similar thing insofar as the club, the reaction that this potential signing could attract. I think it would be very, very adversarial for them to go down that route.
This one is a lot worse, but I'll tell you what, I'm just thinking about it when you say about Ray. I think Ramsdale, when he signed, was a little bit like this. Remember, like, we signed him for about 30 million as a backup, and we couldn't
people were saying he got Sheffield United relegated and all that type of stuff.
It went a little bit nasty for him, and he turned it around. But this one seems to have, and I do think, Rob, it's to do with the Chelsea thing.
What is the Chelsea thing you're talking about?
The amount of players we get from Chelsea.
Getting from Chelsea.
No, I mean, you were suggesting that there might be some kind of close relationship.
Something's going on.
All right.
This makes no sense from any footballing angle. No sense.
It doesn't.
So there must be something going on over in America.
It is funny when you see other clubs of other teams laughing at us at the moment about it.
Tell me something, yeah? 30 mil he signed for to Chelsea. How's he worth 59 if he's been underwhelming there? Whereas Vieira we signed for 30 mil, we're probably going to get 20, 15 mil for him at best.
And you know what it is, right?
How is that?
Robbie says that the fans don't want him, which is true. You know the only fans that do want that sale to go through? The Chelsea fans. I spoke to one earlier today, Richard, next door. He said that, listen, man, I'd be quite happy for Madueke to join Arsenal. And that's the thing. If he was anywhere near good enough for Chelsea, do you really think that Chelsea would be selling him to Arsenal? Because they've got ambitions of their own as well.
Let's get back into the chat. Cecil's in the chat. He says, the reaction is crazy. I don't want him, but boy, this reaction is mental. Noted says, Noni and Saka in the same team makes no sense. Rodrigo and Martinelli in the same team makes no sense. Alvin says, imagine a 50 million bid rejected for Madueke, then 55 million got accepted. We would have to use that for Gyokeres. Also, there is literally Lookman. Why Madueke? Hello? HW says, kudos to Spurs for 5 million more than what we spend on Madueke is criminal, no matter how you spin it. I don't care about GA. This one player is clearly better. James P says, it's almost like Arteta wants to sign these players, like Havertz and Noni, to split the fans to prove them wrong. To spite the fans, to prove them wrong. Panvajic says, good old Arsenal did so well keeping good relations we had with Leipzig by not bidding for Sesko in January, just for them to refuse to negotiate a fee below 90 million euros for him in the summer. K-Praz1 says the squad is in Spain. Pre-season has already started. Full pre-season has not really started. We're talking about when they go on tour. That's what we're talking about. And they're actually playing some serious games. Why are you tapping him there? Because you know that's what we said on the show as well, so shut up. HW says, to your question, Robbie, Arteta gets a kick out of being different and revolutionary. See Havertz in the number 8. No other top club does this deal. He's a sicko. Alex said, I'd rather have kept Emil Smith-Rowe than get Madueke. 50 million for Madueke when Emil Smith-Rowe only sold for 30 million is a crazy, in my opinion. Bring my boy home. Madueke, no one's feeling him. Can we get a poll up on this show, Joe, to see if anybody, do you want? He's got a poll up here. All right, let's see. Is that on the Madueke? Do you want Madueke at Arsenal? 24% yes. 76% no.
How many of those 24 are not Arsenal fans?
70%. 100%.
So you think it's even worse than that?
Yeah.
Of course it is, man.
I've not spoken to a single Arsenal fan, not seen a single Arsenal fan on live Sorry, online, I've not come across anybody that wants him. People have said he's a decent player, which he is. He's England international. But as I said, there's a lot of defects that come with him. And I just don't see how it works.
Okay, Turkish. Do you think we'll get Rodrigo? Rodrigo, yet again, didn't play for Real Madrid last night in the Club World Cup, where they got absolutely battered by PSG. What a team they are, by the way. But got absolutely battered by PSG, 4-0. Rodrigo didn't play no minutes in that game. Rodrigo didn't play no minutes in the previous game. He's gone 5 consecutive games he went in that Club World Cup without starting. All the reports now in Spain is that he's going to leave Real Madrid. Also, we were told at the start of the window, Arteta's a big lover of Rodrigo, but he will be very expensive. £77 million is what we're being told, at 90 million euros. Number one, is that worth it? Number two, should we be going for him? And number three, will we get him? Turkish first.
Yeah, that's not expensive for what he is, in my opinion.
Plus the wages on top of about 200,000 a week.
250, I guess that's his next step up. That's whatever as well. That's the market rate.
It's less than Havertz getting, by the way.
It is less, yeah. That's if he goes by that metric, then he might ask for 300. But should we go? Yes. Will we go? It's not looking likely. All the talks about Madueke. Rodrigo's been dropped for a little while now. Surely you talk to their camp and agree a 5-year deal with their camp, not Madueke's, if you're interested in Rodrigo. Nah, I don't think they will. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea used the Madueke money and go get him. Or Liverpool will come in and...
Imagine if they did that as well.
He's going to go somewhere. Liverpool, maybe Diaz.
Actually, you know what?
Could got Bayern need a left winger.
Maybe I hope Man City don't, because they could do with a left winger as well.
I think he will leave. In answer to your question, which is a good question, by the way, because the Madueke thing's just totally sidetracked everything. But I'd love to see him come there, but I think Arsenal leaning towards Eze in that position.
Yeah, but Eze's central though. That's what the club.
Yeah, but he can play.
But Eze can play left wing as well as.
I'm tired of all that.
I know we're tired of it, but I'm thinking we all know that Arteta is a lover, to use Robbie's phrase, of versatility. He likes players that can play in dual positions. So Eze,
nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, there isn't. But I'm saying that he's on.
Skelia went PSG for 60 million in January.
70 million.
60-70, and we're offering 50 for Madueke. And we talked about market opportunities.
We'll buy.
Clubs, the people are a joke.
We'll end up buying Gary Cahill off them in the next couple of hours, and they'll end up with that money. They get Rodrigo and Gyokeres.
Maybe.
And we'll end up with Jackson.
Last day, loan.
You think we get no chance, Rodrigo?
No, I think I'm with Laurie on this. I think that they're going to go for Eze. I think they will get Eze, by the way, and I think because he can play in a couple of positions, I think that's what we're looking for as well. And I do think he strengthens the squad. Eze's a rotator, not a squad player.
But we should be on Rodrigo as well. That's the thing. We need a left wing striker and attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I think if Arsenal went and got Rodrigo, Eze, Gyokeres.
Yeah,
that's an unbelievable window.
And
right?
I think.
But then, to me,
we deserved that. I think. That's my problem with it.
I think this is the thing that annoys me with the Madueke thing. And by the way, this guy Jules who says, "We don't need no poll. It's only you who wants him." Well, I started off by saying I don't want Madueke. Did I? Anyway,
you're the fall guy.
You can't win with people like this. But anyway, right? With the thing that annoys me with the Madueke thing is that once they go and get Madueke, that's it. I can't see them getting Rodrigo. And to me, I look at it, I'm like, the priority is left. If they'd have got Madueke last season, I'd have been like, okay, I get it. We need to go back up to Saka.
Right, instead of Sterling.
Yeah.
Not for this price.
But this season, Nwaneri's done brilliantly backing up. So use the money and get Rodrigo.
Does Arteta believe in Nwaneri though? Because towards the end of last season, it was strange how he was really featuring.
Yeah, but I think if you're a defender and you got you're up against Rodrigo, Gyokeres, Saka. That gives you sleepless nights.
Why ain't he playing?
start to think to yourself, why?
Why is Rodrigo
proper
not
front
playing
three.
for Real Madrid though?
Yeah, but they brought in Mbappe. So you can see why he's dropped down the pecking order. Because
Mbappe's playing down the middle.
Yeah, but Arda Güler stepped
Yeah,
in
but
now.
you got Arda Güler, and I think probably they're looking at his cashing in time with him.
What, 24?
Yeah, because they've got so much strength
He's
in
not a
depth up
natural
front.
right winger. That's the thing, and that's why when people bring up his numbers and they're still comparative to Martinelli's and whoever else it's a bit disingenuous because he's actually a left winger that's been doing a job on the right wing because Vinicius is their left winger. That is pretty much the water carrier, the front three. But surely that bodes well for Mikel. He likes his players to work hard, and Rodrigo's shown that side. I can be humble, be in the background, work hard, and get what I need to get when I need to get it.
Which is another thing that Madueke isn't. Because,
what
like I
I'm saying.
said, Enzo Maresco's called him out for his lack of effort and his lack of consistency. It's in black and white.
But
He's
Rodrigo's
called him
won
out.
Real Madrid games at the highest level. La Liga games, Champions League games. Come on, Ozil once upon a time was a Real Madrid cast-off in the end. And look at the quality of player he was. And it's different level, by the way. But what I'm saying is that, just because he's not starting from... Arda Güler stepped in the knockout stages until yesterday. He was probably their best player. So they got quality.
You have to big up the Turkish one.
But I lied 6 months ago.
No,
Six months ago, I said I'd go for Arda Güler because Ancelotti wasn't. Xabi Alonso. So
He's a
get
good
Rodrigo. Real Madrid scraps for most is
I hear what you're
is
saying.
diamonds.
I'm just saying,
Sanchez was a Barca scrap at one point. We took him and at one point
true.
we loved
yeah,
him.
that's true.
One of our best
But
players.
you said something there that did kind of make me think, like the Arsenal interest in Rodrigo appears to have waned. And then, like you said, City could snap him up, or one of those clubs. And if they do, that will...
Let me get into some more super chats. By the way, over 7,000 of you watching live. Let's get these likes up to 1,000. We only 636 likes. Like what I got on. You know what I mean? So, like the video, please. And we really appreciate all of your comments and super chats, and it's been absolutely brilliant. Utkash says, regardless of silverware won, how many Premier League goals will Gyokeres get to be a good signing for you? I feel it needs to be 25 goals needed from him, Kai and Gyokeres for to win the title. How many goals do you think you'd be satisfied if he got?
He has to got minimum 20 in the league. Minimum.
Okay. You?
Any striker that gets 20 goals in the Premier League, that's good enough.
Yep, same. And if he gets half that, what he got last season for Sporting in the league, we'll be all right, because he got nearly 40 for them, didn't he?
I think 20 in the league as well is the measure of a top striker.
And I think he can get that.
Yeah. West Coast FCLA says, I can't be the only one who thinks that Arteta will turn Noni into world class.
Yeah, like he did with Sterling.
You don't agree with you. Michael says, do Arteta have the pull and desire to work with the top people?
Who?
Does he have the pull?
Arteta.
Well, he's working with players like Declan Rice. So,
Listen, that's where I would say he's a little bit, I think, defensively and midfield-wise, unbelievable. I think Declan Rice has been brilliant for us the last two seasons. Saliba and
Midfield, I'd say
Gabriel and
50-50.
midfield. He hasn't done, it's only really Saka that's sort of got better and better as he's gone along. The rest have fallen off a little bit. Look at Martinelli's drop off in the last couple of years to what he was when he first, he was not having to play left back, was he, like he does now.
Benny Blanco says, watch us get Madueke for 50+ million and Chelsea fund Rodrigo using that money. Mike the Wheel says, how are we comparing Rodrigo with Kvaratskhelia? Laugh out loud. Who do you know with...
Yeah, who here compared Rodrigo to Kvaratskhelia? Did anyone do that?
I don't remember anyone saying that. Now, how long Vinny has been stinking out the place? He can't play left wing. Mika also says, Turkish, what are you talking about, man? You don't watch Real Madrid like that. Stop leading the masses astray when you said Mourinho was good.
Mourinho is good. And Club World Cup, I've been watching Real, so I've been seeing Arda Güler shut it down.
Canadian Gooner 1995 says, Madueke FaceTiming Ruby Rose. Wearing Gucci. No. Who's Ruben? Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that now. Yeah, all right. Colin says, why have people given up on Martinelli? He's an exceptional player who can easily score double figures in the Premier League.
I'm not giving up on him.
But I'd go easy on exceptional.
D. Jones says they looked at Havertz and said, yes, let's do that again. Abassanian says Arsenal should listen to the AFTV experts. Funny one. I like that one.
So all fans have got an opinion, and that's how it is.
Everyone's right.
Niall Joyce, 37, says, no chance we get Rodrigo or Eze. I don't think we even get Gyokeres. Hope I'm wrong, but I always expect Arsenal to disappoint. Haven't been wrong yet. We won't get close to any majors or any trophies. Thanks for your positivity. And Kbraj1 says, are those the traits of a manager who wants to win 2 majors? Just before we go, what do you think we will get? Come the end of this transfer window, who do you think we will sign? Turkish.
Arsenal agree world record fee to sign Olivia Smith from Liverpool.
Yeah, that's a women's player.
Yeah, where's the men's news?
Women are doing some good business.
I can't believe that just popped up on my phone.
No, I saw that earlier.
World record fee.
That's the most expensive women's signing, I think, in the UK.
Something like that, judging by that. But yeah, it'd be nice if the men's team get to work as well. Because the women's team have been doing some business already last month.
You saw that pop up, and you thought it was
just popped up. No,
but you thought it was a men's signing first.
No, Arsenal agreed.
I know. It was actually reported a little bit earlier, but did you think it was a men's signing at first?
I thought it was something. Doesn't often pop up.
You
with
thought it was
Arsenal
Rodrigo. What do you think we will get? Who do you think we'll get?
I think we'll get Gyokeres, and that's all I can really say for now, if I'm honest.
Jamie Vardy. There you go, right.
He turns back round and says, "Yeah, sorry, I should have."
I think we get Gyokeres, and I do think that we'll get Eze as well.
Would you be happy with that? Take away January and all that. Would you be happy?
I'm going to say I would be happy with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got Kepa, we've got Zubamendi, Norgard. I think we will also sign Gyokeres, and I think we'll get Eze last minute. And if we get those 5, I think that's a really good window.
None of you said Madueke. I think, unfortunately, we will get Madueke.
I'm trying not to talk that into existence.
That's
why I didn't say that.
So whatever you don't do, Madueke is a minus.
Listen, if they get Eze
we'll get
and they get
Gyokeres.
I'm not, and they bring him in, then so be it. So be it.
Okay. I think we'll get Gyokeres.
You don't think we'll get Eze then?
I hope we get Eze. That's not going to be an easy deal to get done again.
What's not an easy deal?
Unless they.
What is not an easy deal, Rob?
No, I'm saying.
Is he talking about Eze?
Yeah.
It's an easy deal. It's an easy deal. Tottenham has shown you how to do those deals.
Yeah. But are we going to do that? That's what I'm saying. So I think that Arsenal. Well, they've already said they're trying to structure a pay over a period of time
business.
But apparently you can in that release clause. Apparently the release clause says you can do it in free. So.
Oh, you can structure it in 3 bits.
Apparently.
Then I'll say
we should call him Andrea Klana then, shouldn't we?
If that's the case, then I think we get Eze. I think Eze would represent a very, very good signing, but I would have loved Rodrigo as well. But who knows?
It has to. Listen, it's, you know what, Eze and Rodrigo are nice. I mean, Eze and Gyokeres are nice. But Rodrigo is the
cherry on the top.
Yeah, and finally let's have some of that in the summer.
Oh, and last thing, is there a player that we haven't mentioned yet that you'd love to see Arsenal sign?
What, can I go on this one?
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers, Aston Villa.
Good player. Rodrigo's the one I want. I can't really see past that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
I still quite like Rafael, right?
There's a risk there, but I'll take him ahead of Madueke. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'd still like Rafael.
I don't even think it costs too much more than Madueke.
Yeah, although
if you could hijack the Gibbs White one, would you?
Nah, because we don't really need Gibbs White. No, I like Gibbs White. I think he's a good player. I'm not going to hate on him just because he's going Spurs, but I don't think that's what we don't need.
No, I agree.
Gibbs White.
I think he's a very good player, though.
I'd rather Eze. I think Eze offers more than Gibbs White. Gibbs White is out and out midfield. I think Eze gives you more options around. And I just think Eze is just such quality. Like, even when we played Palace, he's the guy you don't want to touch in the ball. Like, his quality. But anyway, listen, those are the talking transfers for today. We did get 1,000 likes, so thank you very much for that. Thank you for everybody who contributed. I think we've got one... Oh, no, hold on. I've got a couple more super chats here I've got to do that have just come in. All right, let me just do these before I go. Line Up Fitness says, tired of the mediocrity. We are not dying to win, not bothering with this season if we don't get what we need. See you lot at the World Cup. Shrev says, look at the speed that Liverpool moved at with Wirtz, and us for Noni sums it all up. And then Robbie will come and defend the time taken to sign Gyokeres. We are a tier 2 club, he says. And Philosopher 33 says, is the problem with Madueke the player, the price, the position crowding, or history with Chelsea? Oh, that's right. It's all of them. Investigation, he says. Right, we come to the end of the show today. Don't forget, I'm back tomorrow with Transfer Daily. We're here every single day with Transfer Daily. Also, if anybody signs, we've got breaking news on them. We've got the videos to welcome players when they sign, like the one with Norgard today. So do not miss a thing here on AFTV with regards to any transfers. I want to thank you, Turkish. Welcome back. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Laurie. And thank to you guys once again. And we'll be back next week with another Talking Transfers.